Hello and welcome to By the Way. Don't forget to click subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. Right, it's time to get on with the show. I'm Harriet Rose.
I'm Anna Haugh, and by the way, you don't know enough about Irish food.
And that seems personal, Anna, but I'm going to take it because you're probably right. As a person that is 1/3 Irish, yes, I mention that wherever I go.
So what do you know about Irish food?
Potatoes are the best crisps ever across
Which
the board.
Which potatoes, though?
The original ones from
Republic.
the Republic of Ireland.
Good girl yourself.
And I also don't just drink Guinness, I also drink the other one. And now I can't remember what it's called. Murphy's. Beamish, that's it. When I went to Dublin recently, I got obsessed with Beamish. So look, it's not the worst.
You're almost 100% Irish
Oh,
now.
almost.
You know, with the maths, I'm doing the maths. It's almost 100%.
Anna, before we start, thank you for coming on. You are an icon, a legend, chef, restaurateur, broadcaster, co-host
Who are you talking to?
of MasterChef alongside Grace Dent. Arguably one of the highest profile gigs in cooking TV. You're quite pretty big deal is what I'm trying to say, Anna.
Well, thank you very much. I don't feel like a big deal.
Well,
so thanks.
that's kind of nice, isn't it? To not feel like a big deal even though you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in, I think there's some people who feel like a big deal when they shouldn't.
Good for them. Huh? Good for them.
Do you think there's a part of you that would like to feel more of a big deal?
No. Very, very comfortable in my shoes. Very, very happy with everything. But I'm also very grounded, you know, like I work very hard in my kitchen. You know, people maybe see me do MasterChef and other programs and think that I swan around kind of dipping my finger in tasting sauces and going, oh, more tarragon, please. No, I'm the one sweating and grafting, and I love that. I really love that. I'm most proud of that, actually, is how much I love working.
And how much you love food, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's that career that you've had where I think I've seen you say this a few times. You never expected to get to MasterChef in the way that you have. And it was like you just worked really hard and kept working really hard. And actually, this was a question for later on, but let's talk about it now. I think it's a really good state of mind for people in general, especially in this generation now where people are thinking about making money in different ways, which I think is how the world has changed. And I think it's a really cool concept and idea to think about having a career where you just follow your dreams and you do what you love to do. And it should, I believe very strongly, it will end up where you need to be. If you follow your dreams and do what you love.
I think that sounds like a wonderful theory. But I think in reality, we live in a time where that it's almost the hardest time ever in the history of the universe to have that kind of approach. Because years ago, like, you know, when you wanted to be a musician or a dancer or a comedian or an actor, people could really follow those dreams and then work kind of part-time in a bar or in a supermarket. What are you doing here?
By the way, Anna's dog Myrtle is here. If you see a tiny dog, it's not from the street, it's Anna's dog. And she's just having a lovely time walking around.
She's the best girl in Battersea.
She's the best girl in Battersea, and she's just cooling off in the studio with us. Carry on.
But yeah, I think the cost of everything is so high that if you want to follow your dream and it's not profitable in the beginning, people have to give up on it sometimes. You know, so my dream of being a chef was that you're grafting in a job, you're not paid a lot of money, but you are still paid money. But if your dream is to be a dancer or a singer or a comedian, you do a lot of stuff for free forever.
Well, that's what I did. I did 10 years basically for free. And
do you think you could do that now?
No. I also had an interesting circumstance in that my dad died when I was 17. Yeah. So I had, which is weird to even say, but he left me some money. So I was able to support myself in a way that other people can't. And it's so weird because it's obviously a huge grief and it's a huge, big thing. But it was why I could pursue the career. And I also had like 15 jobs. I was the wench at London Dungeons. I was a music manager. I was this, that and the other.
So happy you added in London Dungeons there.
I think it's one of the most important jobs I've ever had. Do you know how hard it is to be a wench?
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard. Those corsets, pretty tight.
Stop it, you're turning me on.
I know. I literally was like, it was horrible. And I remember there was a man who didn't wash his hands that used to share the makeup with us. So I had to make a formal complaint. That was my life back then.
Gross.
But these are the things that we do to get to where we want to go in
Well,
life.
these are the things we do when we're living a life.
Yeah.
I think everything we're doing, you set a goal because it gives you a bit of guidance as you live your life. Like we all choose different things to kind of hook onto. But whatever happens in that day, this day, it's your life. This is your life. And I think that's the thing we should think about more often maybe than we do. That, sometimes when stuff isn't good or not great, it is your life. So the angle you look at it is the most important thing.
That's very true, because they do say that a lot of the happiest countries in the world are the poorest.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about what you gain, it's about what you experience in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Wow. We're getting profound in this
I love
room.
my life.
I love that you love your life.
I love my life, and it's so chaotic, and so many things don't go the way I want it to go, but I love it. I love it.
I think that's really beautiful. I think I feel the same,
I get that vibe off you.
I think after 35, I was like, life is sick.
It's true, and it just keeps getting better, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Just gets better and better. I can't believe it. When I look in the mirror, I don't see 45-year-old Anna in the mirror.
Neither do I.
I think I see 24-year-old Anna. I don't understand it. And I think when my mother looks in the mirror, I think she sees whatever age she kind of maybe felt that she was a woman or had become an adult. And that's who she sees looking back at her. I think we all see a younger version of ourselves when you're happy, I guess, or when things are right.
I really agree with you, and I think it's a beautiful sentiment. Try and look in the mirror and look at the life that you have.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a beautiful outlook on life that you have. I want to go back to by the way, because we're obviously vibing. So we've just gone to a different direction, which I love. But I want to talk about Irish food, right? As I mentioned to you before the podcast, my dad's mum was Irish, and he wasn't born there, but he spent his every summer in a place called Tumavara, which is near Tipperary.
Amazing.
And he, as I said, sadly died, so I didn't get to learn
Yeah.
all the Irish heritage, but his brother luckily has taught me some stuff about their life, and I'm here today to learn. I'm arms wide open, brain is ready. Teach me, if you don't mind, about what we don't know about Irish food.
Oh my God, where do I start? Well, first of all, Tipperary is very famous. There's loads of good dairy that comes from Tipperary.
The dairy in Tipperary.
They do lots of cheeses, really good cheeses. I use like a cheese called Coshnatira, which essentially means country cheese. And it's in Tipperary, and it was a husband and wife. When they got married, they were given as a gift a herd of sheep. What an amazing wedding gift. Now,
And put a pin in that, Mum, for my wedding. Thank you.
so they had loads of dairy, and they played around, made a cheese, and now it's a world-class cheese. Amazing. It's amazing. Coshatira is such a delicious cheese. It's like Irish pecorino.
I love pecorino.
Well, you love Coshnatira.
Pecorino, Manchego, my two favourite cheeses.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have a French girlfriend as well, so we are not messing around when it comes to cheese.
Well, she'll love all the stuff in Ireland. French people love the good Irish food is very similar to lots of French food because of certain climates in France. So that, we're very potato, dairy, good quality beef. That's like lots of French food is
That's
based
very
on
true,
that.
actually. Also, my girlfriend is obsessed with the Irish accent.
Oh, really?
So my friend,
there's so many though.
My friend Ashlyn, the comedian.
Yeah.
I took her to see Ashlyn, and bear in mind,
Aisling B.
Yeah,
God, I love her.
I love her.
No, I love her first.
No, I loved her first, and I tell you what,
I saw her when she was in the beginning of her stand-up,
my
and
God,
I was like,
tell
oh, she's
me.
so amazing. She's just so funny, and she's so clever, and she's so kind.
yeah. Have you met her?
No.
Okay, we're going to make this happen because she's a good friend of mine.
No, I couldn't. I just fall apart.
And by the way, she's like one of the best people to meet in real life.
Of course she is.
Yeah. But she's the best. And I took my girlfriend to see her, and my girlfriend was transfixed firstly by how funny she is, but secondly by the lilt of the Irish accent. There's something about it. But anyway, we're completely again going on a tangent.
That's all right. This is a conversation.
Exactly.
It's all right.
Cheese. What's next?
Oh my God, there's so much. So basically, when I was a kid, my mother, she's from like Dublin Mountains,
Yeah.
Barnacullia. So her mother taught my grandmother taught my mother how to cook, and then my mother taught all of us how to cook. So everything that I was raised on would be seen as Irish cuisine, but in a very kind of humble way, like home cook way. So when I trained as a professional chef, I always had this idea, if I took my mother's dishes and introduce the professional skills, well, then you have the bones of a finer Irish cuisine than would be recognised. So when people think of Irish food, they think of stew.
I was going to say stew.
Stew, they think of, well, you mightn't think of bacon and cabbage, but in Ireland we'd say bacon and cabbage and maybe a fruit cake. But
also
really...
the potato, there's like a potato cake, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like a flat.
Yeah, so there's boxty.
Yes.
So the boxty is just so Irish. 3 versions of boxty. They're all called boxty just to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
So one is like a bread, one is a pancake, and one is a boiled dumpling.
Yeah, because you never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
and also, most people who eat boxty only know the one boxty. The rule is you have to have cooked potato, raw potato, and flour in the mix. That's what makes it boxty. So then it's about the amount of liquid, and then you get different things. And sometimes bacon powder and eggs and blah, 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 blah. But so... with Irish cuisine, there's a lot of everyday stuff that people take for granted. And it would be similar with British cuisine in a way that, you know, some people would be like, what is British cuisine? You'd be like, oh, it's pies, it's mash. There's a version of that in Ireland, but we have more interesting toppings for our pies. We like an old scone thrown on there, or oats is a big ingredient in Irish cookery because wheat doesn't grow well in our climate. Oats are a very important ingredient. So like instead of breadcrumbs, there would be oat crusted things. You know, the preserving of food, the fermenting of food, all of those kind of things there is a crossover between England and Ireland, but there are nuances that are different, or that we maybe held on to more basic things because we didn't have the same freedom.
Absolutely.
Years ago, I think due to colonial rule, there was lots of things where we weren't allowed. We couldn't eat. This feels very political. I don't want to go too political, but we were only allowed rare animals. We weren't allowed to eat them. You had to sell them. It was the only way you could survive. So we didn't have a long history of appreciating the ingredients that we have on the island. So then once we did get our freedom, and then got not just the freedom of the Republic, but then financial freedom. So people were becoming more affluent. We looked further afield to France and Italy and wanted to mimic those dishes as opposed to what our grandparents had shown us. We kind of moved away from that. So that's pretty dark part of it, but
whether it's dark or not, it's an important part that a lot of people don't know about, and a lot of people don't understand.
Like during
it's historical accurate.
It is. I guess because I don't openly talk about this stuff that much because I feel that I love living in London. I'm very much, my little baby's born in London, and I feel very connected with the country. And sometimes when I talk about stuff like this, I'm worried about upsetting people, you know what I mean? But it is part of the history. And, you know, during the famine, there's famously, we were still exporting all of the meat while people were dying of hunger. You know, we had our potato crops failed as they did in the UK, but any of the successful potatoes were exported.
There's a history there, and it's also a generational trauma there in lots of ways. In terms of food. So I think what's beautiful to come out of this conversation is also that you are taking that generational trauma and you're transmuting it into your love and care for Irish cuisine, with obviously your restaurant Myrtle in Chelsea, bringing that Irish cuisine to the UK and celebrating it. You know, it's modern, but it is rooted.
Oh yeah, like the reason why I was bringing up the famine wasn't just to depress everybody. It was because when I was a kid, my mother would make different kind of desserts or puddings, like semolina, sago, tapioca, polenta, and I never questioned it. And then I was in the kitchen one day in Myrtle in the restaurant, and I was like, what the hell was my mother doing with those ingredients? Like, up in Dublin Mountains, like, what would they be doing? You know, tapioca's made with cassava. Like, and then I looked it up, and, you know, we got a lot of donations from the Choctaw tribe and from Native Americans. We'd huge donations from India. We'd donations from the Ottoman Empire. And these ingredients are all from the famine. So it's about my grandmother not letting go of that knowledge of this ingredient And the idea of it is affordable, it stays in the shelf, you use it when you need it. Like that type of cooking is very resourceful. And it had been turned into a pudding. It wasn't what it would have been during the famine. It would have been just a gruel, if you know what I mean. It wouldn't have been very nice. So I incorporate those ingredients purposely in the restaurant because I could be alive today. You could be alive today because of those donations. You don't know what you're...
It's very true.
So that's really important, is that like
It's
part
giving
of...
me goosebumps a bit.
Well, that I think, you know, goosebumps is one of the most interesting things that happens to humans because it's totally out of your control.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
And it hits, to me, it's like, what are you hitting in there that's like, ooh, this is information. But I also want to say how beautiful that is, that you are keeping that historical element in your cooking as your grandma did, as your mum did. And you're pushing that through and we get to experience it.
But you wouldn't associate that kind of those ingredients with Ireland.
No.
Because we chose to, once we could get away from it, we wanted to forget it. Where I think, you know, I think lots of people, when I talk about that story now, want to, you know, reimagine it, remember it, and, you know, hopefully reintroduce those ingredients to their pantry, as you call it over here, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the word pantry.
I say press, but anyway, we won't get into it. Yeah, we call cupboards presses in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Maybe
know.
I'll start doing that to seem cool.
Oh, yeah, you should. Around Irish people, they'll be like, she's one of us.
Really confuse my girlfriend who's like, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking in a different language. I think that's really beautiful. And it's also, the lineage of it is really, really interesting. And we've discussed as well before, Irish people and Irish food. Do you think that, especially there's lots of friends of mine living in London now from Ireland, but also lots of Irish people in Ireland. Do you think Irish people in Ireland and Irish people here cook Irish food as much as you'd like?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think of pies and, you know, potato dishes that we share between the two islands, we still would be really, and you know, the Sunday roast, that kind of, that's so important with both our cultures.
Yeah.
So I think we still are doing some dishes, but we're not thinking that they are Irish or English. We're thinking that they're just the roast, or that's just a pie, or, you know, we're not actually realizing, not kind of embracing our cuisines and kind of go, no, you know, if you went to Japan and you cooked a Sunday roast for them, they'd be like, tell us more about your cuisine. But for us, it's just normal, everyday stuff. So very often, if you're wondering about like English, Irish cuisine, it's right in front of us. It's the most popular, common things that you have in your fridge, you'll find is based in our kind of culture. So that is dairy. Like, we take for granted our dairy. We are blessed with such amazing dairy compared to other countries.
Irish butter is the best butter.
Irish butter and the
Kerrygold.
cheeses. Oh, Jesus, the cheeses.
Jesus, the cheeses.
Jesus, the cheeses. I have cheese running through my veins. I am obsessed with cheese.
Yeah. What's your favourite cheese?
Oh, God, it's not even Irish.
That's okay.
Very
You're
off-brand.
You're allowed.
Burrata. I eat burrata nearly every day.
Really?
I know.
No, I love burrata, but that was not what I expected you to say.
I eat it like...
You like that you cut it and it just goes...
Yeah, and I'm like olive oil on top of it, seeds. I'm like a little bird. I love seeds.
You eat quite
salts.
a Mediterranean diet, because I read somewhere that you don't eat breakfast, and if you do, you eat pasta with pecorino.
Yeah, I love pasta, pecorino, yeah.
You're
And
quite Italian.
Yeah, but I'll also eat noodles, or I would love a bit of mash, sometimes a burger.
You just love a carb, any form.
I'm not interested in the breakfast bit. I'm just not into it. Don't like cereals. Don't give me yogurt and granola. Get away from me.
Don't want sweet for breakfast. I want a full
no.
English breakfast, though, I will be honest with you. Or a full Irish breakfast.
I just went off them. One day, I just think the sausages aren't good enough. I just went off them, and then I'd rather have a sandwich. You know, I'd have a sausage, rashers, tomato, black pudding sandwich, but not the full shebang.
Interesting. I went to Italy the other day, and it made me think, why do we eat mozzarella when burrata exists?
Oh, yeah. Burrata is just
I don't get
phenomenal.
it, though. Like, fundamentally,
Oh, no, I'll tell you why. Because burrata is very fresh, and it goes off very quickly because it has fresh cream inside it. So it is a lost leader in a supermarket. It's usually very affordable because they need to sell it. But I go in to get that burrata, and I walk out, and I'm like, how did that 40 quid? That's £3.50.
Yeah.
What happened there? So it's a bit of a lost leader that they lure you in for the burrata, and then they...
See, I knew you'd be able to solve that one for me.
Burrata. But I had a burrata the other day, and it was not fresh, and it was in date, and I had to just look at it. I was very upset.
No creamy joy for you.
No creamy joy for me.
I love that you just have the hyperfixation foods. I do the same thing, but not with pasta and pecorino. Anchovies. Do you like anchovies with oil or do you like them in vinegar?
Jeepers, both at the same time if I can.
I like fresh over
the most
tins.
delicious, amazing mayonnaise you'll ever make is when you make it with the boccherones and the
Boccherones
anchovies.
is my favourite.
Beautiful, baby.
Okay, I'm going to do that. My mum makes her own mayo.
Just chuck it in as you're blending it.
My mum is like your mum, taught me everything I know, but I didn't end up becoming a professional chef who hosts MasterChef, which is a bit annoying. But I do have the cooking bug where my mum was the kind of cook where I would call her at uni and go, these are the things I have in my cupboard, what can I do? And she would be able to create a meal.
Your mum is Google.
Yeah, my mum's Google. My mum's AI. Before AI, my mum's AI. Is there something like that you obviously you imparted everything from your mum, but is there a tip and trick like that she used to help you with?
Oh, she taught me everything. She taught me how to go to the shop and choose the cheese and the bread and the tomatoes and the what you're looking for. She taught me how to use my senses, but she did it as a life skill. She didn't do it as a novelty. It was very much like, this is information you need to know. And she taught all of us and totally took it for granted. I didn't know that I knew something until I became a professional chef. And that's how I was checking off. The most junior person often checks off the deliveries and then puts them away. So I'd be like, oh, these mushrooms aren't very fresh. And oh, these herbs are a bit floppy. And I remember my head chef going, call the supplier. And I'd be like, boop, 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 what do I say? These are very good. And they couldn't believe that which it seems basic, but that I had this...
The nose for it.
Yeah, and also that I had to go upstairs and find them and go, excuse me, they've given us bad stuff. Where somebody else might have just put it in the fridge, where I know my mother would be like, don't be bringing that into the house.
Don't you dare bring that to the fridge.
So yeah, I think, I'm so grateful that she gave us those life skills. It's amazing I've turned it into a career, but even if I hadn't, we live in a time where we follow dates. My burrata was gone off, right? But the date said it was in. So I know I'm a chef, but when I was a kid, it was the same. I knew my mom gave me sausages and they were just about to go off. I know the flavour of butter when it's gone rancid because my mother's like, let's not waste. But I used my senses and I was like, doesn't matter that it's in date, this has gone off. And we have this amazing thing inside our bodies that we have all the answers, but we choose to get the answers from somewhere else. So when you think something is not right, if you take a deep breath in, your body will go, get that away from me. The best example I can give you is when the kind of real modern gastronomic kind of trend started where, you could do spherification. So that's where you could have a liquid inside a sphere and it would be a canapé. And I was working in a job and we were doing, for Virgin or something, we were doing some mad space party. And everything had all of these kind of ingredients in it so that you could mess around with things. There was edible glitter and all of that. And when you are in charge, you have to taste everything. So you might be doing 1,000 of a canapé, but you would eat one, so you taste them all. And I would sometimes be making the canapé, but I'd still check my own mise en place. And I remember there was one time, and it was a watercress sphere that I was making, and it was delicious. Goes in a little croustade and had a little cauliflower cream, and it was really, really, really beautiful, little trout. And I knew it was delicious, but every time I'd go to put it to my mouth, I couldn't put it in my mouth. And I was like, come on now, Anna, this is nice. So I'd have to do it like a shot. Grab it and put it, and then I taste it, check the balance of the stuff and go. And then I went, why do I not want to put that in my body? It's food. I know it's food. I've physically made it myself. And then I started to look up the idea of, my brain knew that there was an ingredient in that isn't real food. It's a chemical. It's not necessarily...
Oh, so it wasn't that it was off. It was that your body was like, don't want to eat the hydrogen or whatever they put in to make the ball.
So I then became obsessed with looking at the backs of packets of food, because if there was an ingredient in there that wasn't food, well, then I wanted to know that it was in there. And I started to not eat things that were ultra processed. This is a very long time ago. This is before, finally we have people who have the ability to research things correctly and back up with science that, if you do read the backs of packets and you see words that are not real food, you will more and more be like, I don't really want to eat that. I don't really want to, you know. So like 3-minute noodles would be my kind of thing that I was always like, oh, it's my guilty pleasure. And then I chose to read the back of the packs. And all of a sudden, I stopped buying them, stopped craving them. I stopped, you know, I'd have it in the house, but I have to remind myself, I have to still reread the backs every so often, because sometimes I'm like, maybe that'll be a good one. Maybe that won't have the bad stuff in it. But yeah, I think that our bodies know far more than we give it credit. Like if something is gone off and you take a deep breath of it, your belly will go, don't put that near my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right.
That was very long.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Hopefully you can edit that down.
No, I hope we don't. It was perfect, because you know what's interesting about that is my mum never believed in sell-by dates and still doesn't believe in sell-by dates. Yeah. And I now I'm like, yeah, fuck it. If I smell it and it doesn't smell like, I know what chicken smells like when it's off.
Yeah.
I know what prawns smell like when they're off. I know what an egg looks like when it's off.
Yeah.
And when you crack it, the smell, really, you can eat it until it smells like it's going to kill you.
Yeah. But this is a gift. You're like, to be given those lessons early on is a gift. It's brilliant. I'm so grateful that we had two good mamas, because, you know, Dad didn't cook when we were kids.
No, my dad didn't.
And then I think one day, he made some passing comment and my mother was like, looks like you're going to be cooking. And she stopped cooking their dinner. Yeah. So Mum would cook dinner for the kids. And then when we'd go to bed, that would be Mum and Dad's time. And then they would have their dinner, which I think is quite romantic. It's kind of a nice thing to do. And then we would have dinner together on the weekends. But yeah, Dad's an adventurous kind of, he's curious about things. But my mum's just really talented at cooking.
My dad was not a cook. He was the wine guy. Oh. Yeah. So he knew how to drink wine. A wine guy. And he also taught me how to rewire a plug. So you get wins from either side. Let's talk about Myrtle for a sec, because that is your dog, Myrtle, who's on the floor. And Myrtle, the restaurant, 2 incarnations of Myrtle,
I know.
Which is in Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And we've discussed how important Irish cuisine is to you and bringing that modern Irish cuisine onto the menu there. So you get all sorts through the door. Obviously, it's Chelsea. I've heard you've had Kate Hudson, Dara O'Brien, Jack O'Connell. Who has been the most starstruck you've got over?
Oh, it's not even a famous person. A woman who taught me how to cook pastry years ago when I was a commie. Her name was Mary Knox. Her name is now Mary McAvoy. She left. She was getting married. They were moving back home. And it's kind of strange. There was nothing about me when I was younger where people went, she's one to watch. She's going to go far. You know, I didn't have...
Silent but deadly.
Yeah, I think just, you know, I just didn't have that vibe. And even in my career, when I'd be cooking, it was the only thing I was ever good at. But I think there would definitely be a thing of the way my personality would be, that maybe people would think I'm softer than I am, not as resilient or as strong. And she taught me everything she knew. And she taught me how to watch people in the kitchen. When I would, let's say, I was on pastry, but then I was trying to get off pastry to get into the hot part of the kitchen, and I was on sides. And she's like, see, when they put those plates up, you count those plates. You know what they're going to ask you for. They're going to ask you for, you know, if it's 3 plates, they need 3 sides of the veg or 3 sides of the potatoes. And that made me then look at other people for other things. She taught me so much. And she came to the restaurant with her children and her husband, and I went upstairs to bring a bia biog, which is a mousse bouche, like a small thing you have before your meal. And as I made it bespoke for them, like it was an extra thing. And as I tried to describe the dish, I just burst out crying. And then she burst out crying. And I hadn't seen her in like 20 years. And I was just like...
She changed your life, though.
Well, yeah, because lots of people have believed in me since. And lots of people have paid lots of nice compliments to me. But very little was said to my face for many, many, many years. And she really was just had such an impact on me. I could nearly start crying now. So that was a big deal. That was a real big deal. And she came because she also lives in Ireland. And, you know, that's...
She came for you?
Well, yeah.
And I want to ask you a question about that. It's beautiful. And thank you for sharing it. I want to ask you a question about that. There's something about that says to me, that's a woman who sees a woman and wants her to shine.
Yeah.
And does it for there's no backstory. There's no like, I'm doing this to get this. And it's kind of something that really resonates with me because it's how I want to live my life is I love to give a little boost to somebody else because it gives a little boost to me. And I just feel like, did you feel that as a female to a female thing, or was it just a person to a person? Because I just do think there are women in my life who've looked at me and gone, I'm going to do everything I can to help this person.
Yeah.
There's like friends of mine, people in the industry, you know.
I think it was chef to chef, and maybe because she's like a small woman and apparently I'm short, somebody has told me, and
Not me.
She hated giving out to me because I think she saw all I wanted to do was do the right thing. All I wanted to do was cook the best food and make her happy, and then I would do something, you know, like I'd be just a bit scatty, or, you know, I'd leave a bowl in a place I shouldn't, and I know she'd be angry, but she couldn't give out to me. Like, she's absolutely a disciplinary. Like, she was well able to tell people. She was, when you run a section in a kitchen, you've got to be able to handle yourself. But with me, I could just see her, killed her, because obviously I'd be looking at her going, I'm sorry, Mary. And she, you know, and there's just something she knew.
There was something in you.
Obviously, you'd never have to give out to me to get me to do something.
Right.
You never have to give out to me. Shouting at me, when I'd be shouted at years later in the kitchens, I'd be like, cool. And they'd be saying things, I'd be like, must look like, oh, I feel terrible. And then I'd be waiting for the information. So after they boom, they'd be giving out to you, calling you all the names, and then they go, because that's over reduced, or that was too slow. And I go, information I need. But the other stuff, I'd be like,
really?
I used to imagine being a duck and there'd be water.
So you don't feel affected by other people's projections and their rage and their...
Yeah, well, I mean, my sister could say one word and it could, you know, set me off. You know, it's about the idea of...
In a kitchen.
Yeah, if somebody was calling my mother something unsavory, I'd be like, you have not met Wendy.
Yeah.
She was quite regal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would never take stuff like that personally. Like, if somebody said something about, like, a friend of mine that they'd met and they knew that person personally, it might a little bit in my head make me angry, but I would never show it. But in general, I think I saw when people were losing their temper that they were actually losing their temper. I think I understood
Well, you
the
work in
emotion.
kitchens. I mean, Gordon Ramsay became famous for losing his temper.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where in a kitchen it is a high, literally physically high temperature place, but also metaphorically as well. Talking of ones to watch, it is one of my favourite parts of the show where I share my By the Way with you. And that is, by the way, I'm so impressed with your move from that high stress, high temperature, high octane environment of the kitchen to hosting MasterChef. 2 women, head of one of the biggest cooking shows ever. Incredible. I mean, tell me about it. How does it feel to go from the kitchen to the camera? I mean, you've obviously worked on loads of shows before, but this is the biggie.
Anything to do with food and I feel safe. So and it has to be real. I'm not good at acting. I can only be in the moment. So, you know, with MasterChef, it's my job to look at the food and see the greatness that they have and notice on the things that they've kind of fallen short on, or
Like
that they've made a
flour
mistake.
in hollandaise.
Oh, when you're stressed, you do mad stuff. But yeah, like that's my job. So because I've worked for so many years as a professional chef, there's information that sits in my brain that I know I can figure out what's in front of me. And if I don't know what it is and I've never seen it before, that excites me.
Yeah.
So I'm not intimidated by if there's an ingredient I haven't seen before, or cuisine that I don't know much about, because, you know, I'm trained in modern European food. So anything else that I know about food outside of that is really either from my own curiosity or a crossover of something in my career. So I'm always very comfortable not knowing everything. But I know that when they cook for Grace and I, they really want the honest truth. You think they want you to say, yeah, it's great. But if they know something's not good and you say it's good, nobody wants that, because it's not real. Like in life, we think we want to win and to have the best things, but what we want is honesty. Like confidence, happiness, contentment comes from being the best version of yourself. So sometimes the best version of yourself is you've lost, you lose, you know, because to be honest and not cheat means sometimes you lose, but you can walk away feeling like I'm an awesome winner. but I'm an even better loser.
Yeah.
I really feel that I would never want to get something by tricking somebody. You know what I mean? I would rather lose an opportunity by being honest.
Myrtle's having...
I know, she's like...
What's she doing? She does sound like a little alien.
I'm so in love with her.
Yeah.
That the sound of her snuffling over there is just like
Calming.
makes my heart skip a beat. When he was small, and he used to do this all the time when he was first learning to walk, he would bend over and he would fart, and it was my favorite sound or whatever here, because it was so cute. And he would just bend over, and he was like, with the pressure of it, little toot would come out, and then he would just go. He wouldn't even notice, like just go along with his day.
It's a bit like, isn't it funny that it goes from that, and then when people get older, they then fart and don't notice. It's the circle of life.
Less cute.
It's the circle of life.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
Fart and don't notice. Fart and don't notice. All's well that ends well. It's really interesting you say that, because I earlier today was thinking about the way careers work and like looking at different people who've been successful and not. And sometimes you think, oh, that person's successful and they're not necessarily the nicest person or whatever. And then I look at my career and careers of other people and I go, but I think I'd rather do it slowly with integrity than fast losing myself.
Yeah, because you're living your life. Like, you're living your life. So if you are proud of what you do during the day, so whether you're holding a door for somebody or you let somebody take the last cake on the shelf or whatever it is, and you're choosing to do that, you're feeding your soul. You're actually increasing your happiness in your life. You're living a life where if you cut somebody short and then you're angry and that's not living a life. That's like living a nightmare.
It's living in anger. And I think anytime I am reactive, or because I have ADHD, so there is elements of that come into it. I'm always like, oh, I never feel sad about doing something nice for someone. So I try to do as much nice things because it feeds me. It's not because I'm like a wonderful person, but I think it feeds me and it makes me feel good. And it makes me, one of the greatest things in my day is walking out and having a random conversation with a stranger.
I believe that instantly from you.
It's one of my favourite things to do, where I might walk up to someone. Yesterday, I was parking my car and a girl and her dad was behind her, two different cars. And she said, oh, we're both going, so you can both park. And I said, you guys look beautiful. Because they were just like, obviously they'd been somewhere, like a wedding or something. They look really stunning. And I was like, oh, she's done this nice thing for me and they look great. So I was like, oh, you guys look amazing. Yeah. Like, and you see it, and I think it's become, something that people weaponize and use for social media, which is a bit boring, but but I just love having those weird conversations with people where you would never normally talk to that person. Yeah. And you end up having like a 5-10 minute, like the woman who works at my tube. Yeah. We talk every day.
I love that.
We talk every day, and she's always like, every time I see her, I'm so happy that she's working. Because I give her a hug and then I go onto my tube day. Imagine walking onto the tube and getting to hug the person who works at the tube. I love it.
That's great. And tell me, listen, when you were younger, did your mother show signs of and your father, where like if they're driving the car, they let somebody out, or if you were on the bus, that they'd get up and give their seat?
Oh, manners were, in the sense of like also me getting up and making sure that somebody could sit. Like
it's a life skill as well.
Yes.
It is, and it has to be taught. So we're born with a certain amount of empathy, but it has got to be encouraged and taught properly. So I remember so much as a kid that if I was on the bus and Mum would be like, "Up you get, Anna," I could either sit on her lap or stand, because she used to always go, "You've young legs."
Yeah.
And then I'd give up my seat. But most of all, it's the right thing to do. If somebody gets on the bus and they have got a load of bags that they're carrying, or they have a child, or they're old, or they look like they're just exhausted, man or woman, offer your seat.
Absolutely.
And then the rest of your day, you're like, you feel good because you helped somebody who needed it. So that is like similar upbringings we had.
Yeah, and it's like, what can be wrong about that?
Oh, I just think, well, it depends on what kind of person you are. So I'm replenished by people. I actually am, better and stronger. Some people, they get drained. So then they need lots of alone time, where I don't mind alone time. But in general, when I'm around people that I love and I know, that's when I replenish the quickest.
You're supercharged by others.
Yeah, supercharged by friends and family. But by strangers, I feel like I have a better day if I have a conversation with
Sometimes, and it's mad, if you're having a bad, truly, honestly, if you're having a bad day, try sparking up a conversation with a stranger or an interaction with someone. Sometimes it's acknowledging someone else's pain. So sometimes it can be like, oh God, it's boiling, isn't it? And it can just be a moment where you have no idea what it means to that person, that you have acknowledged their pain, acknowledged their situation, got up for them on the tube or whatever. And it does, I mean, calm as a bitch, and it's also brilliant. Like, it does just reverberate on throughout your day, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Anna, do you have anything that you want to get off your chest?
It's not very interesting, but I'm glad finally somebody's asked me. By the way, I don't like cyclists. I have to say this out loud. I think about it every day. I think about it so much that my son goes, you have to watch the cyclists because they don't follow the lights. And I was like, exactly, son.
And you wonder,
4.5.
Absolutely.
I wonder where he got that sentence from.
No, not
That's
you.
me teaching him to cross the road, because every time, obviously we're doing the green man because I'm teaching him, and then one day he won't be walking with me the whole time and I need him to follow it. But it doesn't matter if you've got a green man. Those cyclists don't follow the rules.
They don't follow the rules. Okay. Now, this is going to cause, the comments are going to be commenting. I've
Come
got
for me.
got a few thoughts.
Go on.
First and foremost, you're absolutely right that, like, cyclists run the lights. My cosign to that is mopeds.
Oh.
You know, like mopeds?
Yes, I know mopeds.
In my area, mopeds don't follow the rules. So they'll drive on the wrong side of the road coming towards you.
Very bold.
Very bold. My worry with cyclists is, if you're not wearing a helmet, don't come near me.
Oh my goodness, don't get me started on the helmet issue. Madness.
It's madness out here. Let's rate on the scale of one.
If I was cycling, I'd be in full leathers and a proper motorcycle helmet.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
I
I'd
would
be
love
doing.
to see that. It's kind of hot in a way.
I mean, hot as in
Hot physically.
sweating.
Yeah. Top level bad cyclists, line bikers. People who rent the bike and they are on their phone the whole time.
Oh,
That's
my
my
goodness.
worst. Second top is professional cyclists
Yeah.
who are motor race cycling.
Yeah, they're a little bit scary, yeah.
And can I just say, by the way, as a caveat, I love my friends who cycle. I love you if you cycle.
I don't.
Anna doesn't. But
No, hang on. You know what? There is one type of cyclist I love.
double cyclist, baby and parent. Is that what you're going to say?
No, it's the cyclists that follow the rules and stop at the lights. I love them. They're the ones I love.
As a mother, I can imagine it is extremely...
I haven't told you the full thing. Every time I see a cyclist break the lights, I daydream about taking a stick and sticking it in the spokes of the car. and then I don't really think about it too much afterwards, what'll happen. But that's what I think. It was a little bit like, you know, the duck thing for me to survive when I was in the kitchen. This is another thing. I'm like, stick in the spokes.
Yeah, because
That'll teach 'em.
But what's so funny is that's your protective... I think that's your protective mum.
Sounds pretty aggressive. Maybe I was a warrior in a past life.
Maybe you were a bike
Sticks.
warrior.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I think... there was a period where I was riding a bike. There was a period where I got given...
Did you follow the lights?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Yes, because...
You look like you
Okay,
wouldn't
have you
follow.
ever played the PlayStation?
Stick.
Have you ever played PlayStation?
Yes, I've played PlayStation.
Have you ever heard of Grand Theft Auto?
Yes.
I follow the lights in Grand Theft Auto. So if that gives you an indication of how much I follow the lights...
Good girl.
I stop at red lights in a game.
I like that.
Thank you. I had a electric bike that was given to me, weapon of mass destruction. Do not let people have electric bikes. They are faster than cars. I was I must have, like, you know how they like brake cars to make them faster? I must have done something, because this was a whippet. It ended up breaking, but it is a weapon of mass destruction. Like, the fact that I was racing cars whilst riding a bike is insane. I also think...
Hang on.
Yeah.
You were racing cars?
No, not literally. As in, I was
Did they know? Did you shout at them going, who's gonna win?
Yes, it was like that film with Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious,
like that.
but it was
But a
Vin
bike.
Diesel and me on a bike. So you hate cyclists?
Yeah, I do. But you made me think of a different thing. When I lived in Paris, we had
cycle everywhere
a
there.
moped. And every time I would start on the moped, I mean, like, every time, I just drive into the wall. Like, every time. Ka-bump.
Wait, so you have a moped license but not a car?
Oh, you don't need a moped license in Paris. I don't know if you do now, but, like, when I lived in Paris, it was 20 years ago. So, yeah, you didn't even have to wear a helmet back then.
Can you ride a bike?
Yeah, I can ride a bike. And I can actually drive. I just don't have a license.
Legend.
Yeah.
That is somebody who lived in a small town, am I right? It's like,
No,
I
that's somebody
can drive, but I just have never legally driven.
I only drive when I hotwire a car.
As you should. As a woman, I think it's your right.
Mm-hmm.
But you hate cyclists, but you are one. Not on the roads, though. You don't cycle on the roads, do
I'm
you?
one of the good ones.
Oh, right. So you don't mind people who stop at the lights?
Yeah, stop at the lights.
Why don't you start doing a thing where every time a cyclist
I'm
stops
gonna
at the
carry a
lights, you
stick.
say, thank you?
I don't know. That feels passive aggressive.
I mean, it's less passive aggressive than sticking a speed.
No, that's aggressive aggressive. I'm
Yeah.
really good at aggressive aggressive.
Are you?
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel like you are.
Yeah, I choose to use my powers for good.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, but there's going to be angry people, but I don't 100% agree with you, but I don't massively disagree
The
with
only
you.
ones who are going to be angry are the ones breaking the rules.
So
The
true.
ones who stop at the lights are going to be like, yeah,
We stop at the lights.
yeah.
Also, car drivers, please don't get so close to bikes. You get too close to bikes.
Yeah, I agree.
I genuinely have had such a nice time with you. Firstly, because I feel like the way you live your life is a really good representation of something that I feel like we can all take a little leaf out of. Wherever you're at, however far along you are into getting your dream, whether it be a dream job or a dream just scenario, a house, a family, whatever, like looking in the mirror and being happy where you are. And also looking, I think the way you look at food and the way you look at your heritage in that way, it's so beautiful, and it's been so nice to learn about it. We like to leave our audiences with a nice, pointless piece of advice. Is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners?
And another thing, this is something I often try to explain to my staff in the kitchen, and I call it the invisible 10%. And that is, if you wake up in the morning and you have a shower, nobody knows, you know. If you brush your teeth at night, nobody knows, you know. But I believe by doing these small acts, like you make your bed, nobody knows. You make these small little gestures in your life, they are just showing respect to yourself. So when you respect yourself, you walk into the world feeling better about yourself. So then you're more capable to handle negatives or things that don't go your way because you've started on the right foot. And that invisible 10%, if you take it into your job, there'll be things you do in your job that nobody knows. And it is a magic sprinkle that will result, I think, in success.
And that's what you did.
Well,
That's what you did with the smelling of the food and the going the extra mile and being like, this is floppy, we're not keeping this coriander. And it ended up getting you where you are.
Yeah, but
What a
the
great
invisible
mindset.
10% is done when nobody's watching and nobody knows what's going on. And you do it because it's, respect for yourself, but also sometimes it is respect for other people or whatever.
I love that. And you've kind of put a name to something that I like to do, like secret, but something that's really plowing into yourself and those around you.
And if you don't do the invisible 10%, nobody will know. So the whole point of it is that you do it for
Just
yourself.
for you. The only people that will know is anyone that smells your breath.
My son is so funny when he won't brush his teeth.
Isn't that funny? Kids hate brushing their teeth and I don't get it.
Well,
My nieces don't. They're like, I have to literally bribe them.
Yeah, he tricked the babysitter the other day to give him lemonade. He went to bed 2 hours late and he refused to brush his teeth. But
Perfect.
when he does brush his teeth, he does this thing where he goes, I brush my teeth, and he goes, "Ha!" And he runs past, but like he could be there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, minty, fresh. And
I'm like, well done. That's
Yeah.
amazing. You need to positively reinforce that for when he gets older.
well, he has a chart. The chart is magic.
Oh.
And it's the chart. Nothing prepared me for how successful the chart was.
He filled the chart in.
Yeah, there's like 5 jobs that he has on that chart, and without that chart, he'd be a filthy, manky boy with unclean hands, teeth.
Well, not anymore. Well,
Yeah.
well done, Anna. It sounds like you're a great mum and a great chef and a great human being.
Well, I've had enough compliments for one day.
No.
Okay, I've had my fill. I have to be honest. I should have said that was my thing. I don't like compliments.
Oh, by the way.
By the way, no more compliments.
And she's had to sit here this whole
It's killed
time.
me.
Now her by the ways are she hates cyclists and me giving her compliments.
I actually hate the compliments nearly as much as the cyclists.
Well, you're going to have them. And I'm also similar to you, so don't worry. Thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. If you have enjoyed today's episode, Anna, don't you think that they should rate, review and
Absolutely.
subscribe?
Subscribe.
Yeah. Guys, listen to Anna. She's a chef and she'll come and spike you off your bike.
The
if you
invisible
don't.
10%. Nobody else will know. You'll know.
The invisible, you would be doing your invisible 10% by clicking like, subscribe, follow, leaving us a comment, because it will improve all of our lives, because I keep having to have amazing guests like Anna.
It's not really invisible though, is it? But anyway, do it.
Bye.